You think you have a perfect family? Don't worry, you are dying already. After this, I will become the lady of the house and take your place.
Oge taunted. Mrs. Jemima, in panic and pain, pleaded with Oge to help her to the hospital, but Oge callously refused. Despite Mrs. Jemima's desperate reminders of the kindness she had shown Oge in the past, Oge remained unmoved. Instead, she callously laughed off Mrs. Jemima's appeals, telling her to die in peace. Udak, a bright and intelligent teenage girl, lived with her loving parents in a small town. The family was a picture of happiness, filled with love and gratitude. Her father, a wealthy man, provided everything Udak needed, ensuring she lacked nothing in life. Udak's brilliance shone through her academic achievements. She attended the best school in town, where her intellectual prowess garnered her the admiration of both teachers and peers. Coming home with top-notch results became a routine for her, a testament to her dedication and hard work. Despite the family's affluence, Uduak remained excited and humble. She valued the importance of education and the opportunities it represented. Her parents were grateful to have such a remarkable daughter, recognizing that her intelligence was a blessing. One day, as Uduak was engrossed in her studies, her father approached her with a smile.
Udak, my bright star, your dedication to your studies fills our hearts with pride. We are fortunate to have you as our daughter.
He expressed, patting her gently on the shoulder. Uduak beamed with gratitude, appreciating the support and encouragement from her family. Her mother, a nurturing soul, would often prepare her favorite meals, ensuring Uduak felt cherished and motivated to continue excelling. As the years passed, Uduak's academic journey continued to flourish. Her parents, although wealthy, instilled in her the values of hard work and humility. Uduak never took her privileged life for granted, always remembering to give back to the community that surrounded her. As Uduak approached her junior high examinations, her parents, recognizing the importance of additional support, decided to hire a tutor. Her mother, thoughtful as ever, suggested getting a private tutor to ensure Uduak received personalized attention. Her father readily agreed, understanding the significance of academic success. Oge, a lady in her late 30s, beautiful and calm, she became Udrak's tutor, bringing with her a wealth of knowledge and a genuine passion of teaching. The first day Oge arrived, Udrak felt an immediate connection. Oge's teaching style was not only effective but also made learning enjoyable. The two quickly developed a friendship that extended beyond the academic realm. As Udrak's parents were committed to their 9 to 5 jobs, Oge's role in Udrak's life became more significant. She not only assisted with academics but also became a supportive figure during the weekdays when Udrak's parents were not readily available. Oge's dedication to her role was evident, and Udrak was grateful for the extra guidance. During weekends, Udrak's parents made it a priority to be present for their daughter. The family shared precious moments together, fostering a bond that Oge couldn't help but observe. Though she maintained a facade of happiness, deep within, jealousy began to seep into Oge's heart. The love and closeness Udak's family displayed were a stark reminder of what she longed for in her own life. As Oge continued to teach Udak, the facade became harder to maintain. She admired the family's unity, but the envy within her grew stronger. Despite her best efforts to conceal her true feelings, the astute Uduak sensed something amiss. One weekend, as the family shared laughter and stories, Uduak gently asked Oge about her life and aspirations. Oge, caught off guard, hesitated before sharing her yearning for a family of her own. Uduak, empathetic and caring, reassured Oge that her time for love and compassion will surely come. As Oge continued tutoring Udak, her hidden agendas began to unravel. Deep within, Oge nursed resentful feelings, fostering a jealousy that fueled her desire for a devious plan. One day, she approached Udak's parents with a carefully crafted story, pretending to have been thrown out by a friend and having nowhere to go. Udak, ever compassionate, pleaded with her parents to let Oge stay. Concerned for Oge's well-being, they agreed, welcoming her into their home. Oge, with a seemingly grateful heart, settled into her newfound residence, concealing the dark intentions that lingered beneath the surface. In the first week of Oge's stay, the family embraced her, extending the warmth that defined their household. Little did they know that Oge's mind was concocting a sinister plan. Alone in her room, she brooded over her disdain for what she perceived as the family's perceived perfection.
I hate this family. They think they are perfect, and that irritates me. I had to do something fast and take up Mahmoud Dwak's place in this house.
She muttered to herself, planting the seeds of deception and ill intentions in her heart. One day, as Udrak's mother, Mrs. Jemima, requested a glass of wine, Oge, the tutor, seized the opportunity to carry out a sinister act, adding an unknown substance to the drink. Mrs. Jemima unsuspectingly consumed it. Within moments, she began screaming, collapsing to the floor. Oge, the sole witness to this distressing scene, callously mocked Mrs. Jemima.
You think you have a perfect family. Don't worry, you are dying already. After this, I will become the lady of the house and take your place.
Oge taunted. Mrs. Jemima, in panic and pain, pleaded with Oge to help her to the hospital, but Oge callously refused. Despite Mrs. Jemima's desperate reminders of the kindness she had shown Oge in the past, Oge remained unmoved. Instead, she callously laughed off Mrs. Jemima's appeals, telling her to die in peace. In a heart-breaking turn of events, Mrs. Jemima succumbed to the effects of the substance. Oge, now realizing the severity of the situation, feigned concern. She hastily picked up her phone and called Udrak's father, informing him that his wife had collapsed. In a calculated move, she took the tinted glass and cleaned up any evidence, leaving behind a scene of apparent natural calamity. The once harmonious household now faced an unimaginable tragedy, and the fate of Udrak's family hung in the balance as Oge's dark intentions unfolded. The unfolding drama held the potential to unravel the family's unity and trust, leaving them in a vulnerable state. The aftermath of this treacherous act would undoubtedly reshape the lives of those involved, with consequences that were both unforeseen and devastating. Udak and her father, Mr. Damien, was shattered by the loss of Mrs. Jemima. Oge, pretending to grieve alongside them, shed crocodile tears to maintain the illusion of sympathy. As Mrs. Jemima was laid to rest, the pain within the family deepened, leaving Udak and her father emotionally wounded. Oge continued her facade, consoling Uduak and offering support in an attempt to fill the void left by Mrs. Jemima. With time, the family began to find the courage to move forward, and Oge, now playing the role of a mother figure, seemed to be a source of comfort. One fateful night, Uduak, plagued by a bad dream, sought solace in her father's room. To her shock, she discovered Oge with her father, casting a shadow of doubt over the sincerity of Oge's intentions. Uduak, unable to comprehend the scene, fled the room in disbelief. The next morning, Uduak confronted Oge about what she had witnessed, only to be met with a resounding slap. Oge, now revealing her true colors, warned Uduak to stay away, claiming that Mr. Damien was now hers. Uduak, stunned and hurt, found herself at a loss for words and tears welled up in her eyes. Determined to seek answers, Uduak approached her father to discuss the shocking revelation. To her dismay, Mr. Damien not only dismissed her concerns, but also warned her to respect Oge, revealing that they were planning to get married soon. Udak, unable to contain her disbelief, questioned the timing, exclaiming,
Father, it's just 5 months since mom died and you want to remarry?
in response, Mr. Damien sternly warned Udak, pushing her away and demanding her compliance. The once loving family now found itself entangled in a web of deception and betrayal, leaving Udak isolated and struggling to comprehend the abrupt changes in her father's behavior. As the story takes an unexpected turn, Udak grapples with the harsh reality that her once unbreakable family is crumbling, torn apart by the very person they welcomed into their lives. The future remains uncertain, with the looming prospect of Oge's influence deepening and Udrak's sword unraveling before her eyes. Weeks passed, and the unthinkable unfolded as Mr. Damien married Oge. Udrak's life took a dark turn as Oge, now in a position of authority, turned her into a maid, subjecting her to cruelty and frustration. Udrak, overwhelmed by the harsh reality of her new existence, cried herself to sleep every night, yearning for her mother to rescue her from this nightmare. Oge's cruelty knew no bounds. She not only starved Udrak but also prohibited her from attending school, isolating her from any source of solace or escape. Mr. Damien, once a caring father, seemed oblivious to Udrak's suffering, and Oge became the sole authority in their household, dictating the rules with an iron fist. One night, unable to bear the torment any longer, Udak summoned the courage to confront her father about the drastic changes in his character. However, her plea for understanding met a violent response. Mr. Damien, under Oge's influence, unleashed a brutal beating upon Udak, following Oge's explicit directions. The once loving family had crumbled, replaced by a household dominated by cruelty and injustice. Uduak, now battered and broken, clung to the memories of a time when her family was a source of love and support. As she endured the physical and emotional pain inflicted upon her, the bond that was once held the family together had disintegrated entirely. Uduak's cries for help echoed through the walls, unanswered and unheard. The torment continued, and the darkness that enveloped their home seemed insurmountable. The transformation of Uduak's once happy family into a house of despair painted a bleak picture of the impact of Oge's sinister influence. In a distressing turn of events, Oge and Mr. Damien conspired to marry Uduak off to an elderly man. Confused and overwhelmed, Uduak pleaded with her father, expressing her belief that she was too young for such a life-altering decision. Unfortunately, her appeals fell on deaf ears as the oppressive forces in her life remained steadfast in their determination to control her fate. That night, sensing the impending threat to her autonomy, Uduak discreetly packed her most cherished belongings and quietly slipped away from the house, escaping the suffocating atmosphere that had defined her existence. Without anybody noticing, she embarked on a journey to her aunt's place in another town, seeking refuge and solace. Upon arrival, Uduak opened up to her aunt, recounting the heart-wrenching stories of her life. Touched by her niece's plight, the aunt couldn't help but envelop Uduak in love and compassion. In the protective embrace of her aunt, Uduak began the process of rebuilding her shattered world, finding sanctuary away from the oppressive forces that had sought to dictate her life. The support and understanding Uduak discovered in this newfound sanctuary provided a stark contrast to the cruelty she had endured at the hands of Oge and her father. The oppressive narrative that once defined her life has gradually replaced by one filled with love, support, and the promise of a brighter future. Years passed, and Uduak, under the guidance and support of her aunt Margaret, fulfilled her dreams of becoming a medical doctor. She worked in a teaching hospital, emerging as a shining star in her field. One day, as Uduak attended to her duties in the emergency room, a patient was rushed in. To her disbelief, It was none other than her estranged father, Mr. Damien. Despite the complex emotions that surfaced, Uduak remained steadfast in her commitment to her profession and carried on with treating him. As days passed, Mr. Damien gained consciousness, finding himself under the care of his daughter, who had become a respected medical professional. Uduak, maintaining her professionalism, met her father's gaze and asked about his well-being. Mr. Damien, shocked and dumbfounded by the turn of events, struggled to find words. His daughter Uduak, who had overcome the trials of her past, stood before him as a testament to resilience and triumph. As she smiled at him, a bridge seemed to form between their fractured relationship, leaving the future uncertain but filled with the possibility of healing and reconciliation. After Mr. Damien was discharged from the hospital, he mustered the courage to ask Uduak for a few minutes of her time. However, Uduak, seemingly overwhelmed with her busy schedule, declined and left abruptly. Unknown to her, Auntie Margaret had other plans. Auntie Margaret, recognizing the need for a heartfelt conversation, invited Uduak to her home, where an unexpected reunion awaited. To Uduak's surprise, her father, Mr. Damien, was also present. Initially hesitant, Uduak contemplated leaving, but Auntie Margaret, sensing the importance of the moment, held her back, revealing that her father had something crucial to share. Mr. Damien, with a heavy heart, began to narrate the painful event that transpired in the past. He unfolded the tale of Oge, Uduak's stepmother, who had manipulated and deceived him, leaving him with nothing. Oge's action had led to the loss of everything, and she callously abandoned Mr. Damien, leaving him to suffer alone. Moreover, she confessed to killing Uduak's mother and charming him, Mr. Damien, into committing the deed that tore their family apart. In a vulnerable moment, Mr. Damien shared that he fell ill and Oge vanished, leaving him to face the consequences of their past. Eventually, Oge ran away with another wealthy man. Recently, he learned of Oge's demise and the burden of guilt weighed heavily on him. Touched by her father's confession, Uduak felt a wave of emotions. In a tearful reconciliation, she forgave her father, embracing him with an open heart. The joy that had eluded their family for so long started to return.
In an incredible display of love and forgiveness, Uduak, now a successful and compassionate woman, used her resources to rebuild her father's life. She built him a grand mansion and ensured that both her father and Auntie Margaret never lacked anything. Their home became a heaven of happiness, and they lived together harmoniously, healing from the wounds of the past. The story concludes with a note of redemption, forgiveness, and triumph of love over the adversities that once threatened to shatter their lives. The story of Uduak teaches us the enduring power of resilience, forgiveness, and the ability to rebuild our lives after facing adversity. Despite the challenges and betrayals, Uduak triumphed through her determination, kindness, and eventual forgiveness. It underscores the importance of embracing compassion and understanding, even in the face of deep wounds. Thank you for watching this captivating tale on African stories. If you enjoyed the video and found inspiration in Udrak's journey, don't forget to show your support by liking, sharing, and commenting below. For more engaging stories and cultural insight, subscribe to African Stories and click on the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content. Your support keeps these stories alive. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired.